did you get them all? You see, 5 loyalty points for each one, correctly spotted. Who's That Girl was the first single to be taken from the Eurythmics album Touch. I'm going to be chatting, yes, with Phil Collins in just a moment, but first, let's check him out in action.
You can't help it, love. No, you just have to wait. Just trust in the girl's eye, no matter how long it takes. Oh, give me a chance, give me a sign, and I'll show up anytime. Sweet, do not disturb me. Speak or shout, inside out. Ooh, and my clothes, they're all laid out. Oh, did I miss again? I think I missed again. Oh,
Our album of the week this week is Face Value from 1981 by Phil Collins, who joins me now.
Hello.
It's good, so good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Really, I'm really chuffed you've come on this special Red Button for us.
You know, how can I refuse?
It's that good. So you made a list of people that you wanted to work with, of
Yeah.
heroes to work on Face Value with you.
Yeah.
Phoenix Horns, who were they and why did you want them?
Well, I was a big Earth, Wind and Fire fan, you know. I mean, I saw them live a few times and the show was stunning and I loved the music. But what really stood out for me was these 4 guys that would play these amazingly syncopated horn lines, you know. And I said to myself, I'd like a bit of that, you know, on my record. And they actually were kind of, they weren't part of the band. They were always used, but they weren't part of the band. So they were quite happy to have some other work, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Pocket money.
What instruments were they then exactly?
There's a tenor saxophone, trombone, and 2 trumpets.
Nice.
But they, and they also had an arranger called TomTom 84, which I thought was a computer when I first read it.
Yeah.
But it's this little guy from Chicago who arranged it all. And it was a bit of a surreal experience working with them, but they were great.
Did you already knew how you were going to work with them, or was it kind of like, I love what they do, let's get them in studio and see where they can fit into the music?
No, I had to sit down with TomTom. Thomas Washington, his real name was. I had to sit down, you know, with a cassette player and play the backing tracks and say, we could do something here, you know, you know, and he'd say, yeah.
A bit of that. We could just jam now.
Yeah.
No, just me. That was definitely just me doing the jamming session then. And where was this studio? Was this where you did the whole album?
Yeah, Townhouse.
Where's that?
Well, it was in Goldhawk Road in Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it's there anymore. But it was a fantastic studio.
And what
I did all this basic stuff at home, you know, during that period where, you know, I was kind of on my own and looking for something to do because, you know, the house was full, 2 kids, 2 dogs, wife, you know, then suddenly there was nothing. So I had a lot of time and I did the demos at home and I didn't want to re-record all that because, you know, I was learning how to play certain things, so I didn't want to record it again because I got it how I wanted it. So I took the demos into the studio and I copied them and carried on and got people like the Phoenix Horns in, got Ronnie Scott in.
And you, with the drums as well, did you use programming for the drums on this album? Like drum machines?
Yeah, drum machines, yeah. Well, I mean, it was a pretty primitive drum machine.
Why did you use a drum machine when you're one of the world's most famous, like, drummers?
Stop it. Yeah. Well, what it does and what it did was gives you some space, you know, as opposed if you don't have a drum machine. I mean, if you're writing like I was writing, you know, and I couldn't record. I was on my own, so I couldn't really record drums. And we just played in Japan, Genesis for the first time, and Roland, the company, gave us these drum machines. And I said I didn't need one, thank you, at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then
not to have any of this modern nonsense. Thank you very much.
Hence, you know, I'm going to be put out of work. But as soon as I had this demo thing going on, I thought, well, maybe I should get one. So I started to program, and it was very limited in what you could do with it. But I programmed the In the Air, you know, Hand in Hand. You know, there's a couple of songs that really...
That That was all in a. Was that all on that?
What was it again?
Do, 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 do,
Da 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 da.
So good that. I mean, when did you wake up in the middle of the night and go do 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 do
No.
for that bit?
No.
Where did that come from? I mean, it's just so brilliant.
Yeah, it stood the test of time,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But I'd been working in the same studio, the Townhouse, with Peter Gabriel.
Right.
And we had recorded some drums on his third album. And I met Hugh Padgham, the engineer, who I really bonded with, you know, because he'd got this fantastic drum sound. So when we came to do my album, I asked him if he would do it. And we set up in the same place, you know. It was basically, it's a live room. So normally in studios, everything's dead, you know. But they had a live room at the Townhouse where, you know, it sounded fantastic for a drummer. And that was that you know, that was the take I did that particular time. I wasn't wasn't thought about before.
No. It just came from.
Just came.
Working on this album then, so with Face Value, as your solo stuff, and then you hadn't like flown the nest from Genesis.
No.
You just had a different nest, and you were back and forth, weren't you? Because you were working on Duke as well. That was a huge album for Genesis. So were the guys quite supportive with you? Was it just a scratch that needed itching with this solo stuff, and they were quite supportive of you going off and doing it?
Yeah, well, I think we'd agreed that, you know, we would do the solo things and get that out of our system, if you like, and it also gave Genesis more of a reason to exist because we just wrote stuff, the three of us together, as opposed to what was happening before was someone would come in with a song, we'd all learn it. You know, we got rid of that slowly.
I mean, you've written so much, and they're all going to be. This is going to be the vinyl version, and this is what everybody can
touch, feel. I mean,
I was going to say buy. You don't want to just touch.
Okay, if you want.
This is it's kind of a bit like a collector's, where you know those magazines where they go get a bit of the roof of the ark that you build yourself.
That's right. Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
So you get
this fills up.
Yes, it's going to
hopefully.
Is it how many albums? 8 albums.
Yeah.
So all your original solo albums remastered.
Yes.
Given a bit of polish.
With this it's the albums. With the CD, it's the albums and a second CD each time.
Right.
Of live material that relates to that record.
Wow.
And demos and stuff.
And starting off with Face Value, with our record of the week.
And I reshot all the artwork. You know, I mean, that Face Value. Well, you don't have to show it, but
let's have a look. I like it because it's quite. Well, let's say it's brave, but actually you look all right. Did you have any makeup on here?
No, it didn't.
Does that look weird when I hold it in front of my own head? Is that quite good?
You poor.
So you recreated the.
Yeah, we recreated all the covers, and that to me, the point of doing that was to show that I was involved in this. You know, because sometimes record companies, you know.
It can be a bit remote. You're like, just get them out again. Give us.
So I wanted my fingerprints all over it, and that was an obvious way of telling people, okay, this is different. What else is in there?
Yeah. Are you going to be touring? I mean, are you back?
No.
Are you back? And
I'm half back.
You're half back, and why now?
Well, I'd been away, and how can people miss me if I don't go away? So I know I wanted to stop and bring up, you know, my 2 boys, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the 3 other ones, Jodie, Simon and Lily are all older. But, so I stopped. And
so you've been on dad duties for a few years.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. You've been doing school run and...
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee mornings.
Yep. No. No, I try to avoid those. But I figured that because I've been away quite a lot, and I'd read, you know, quite a few people that had come up in the last. I mean, you know, I'm calling Adele a new artist, but of course she's not. But people like her and Beyonce and Lorde and Pharrell Williams and the hip hop community had kind of started to talk about me as an influence. And I thought, you know, there may be some people out there that miss these albums.
Yeah.
And why not get rediscovered? I mean, it's not because I need the money, but it's just, okay, well, maybe, you know, maybe now's the time.
Now, you're back with your music. Could you be back with acting if the right role came along?
I hadn't really given it too much thought recently, but
if
it's something I really enjoy.
If Spielberg rang up and said, you know,
yeah, well, of course. I mean, I'd give
a
it
good role. Would you be up for that? Getting
I
your
would
teeth
be
into that?
possibly up for that. Because I was so busy, I'm at a point in my life where I really am reluctant to step on the moving staircase kind of thing, because I know that what will happen. I can't say that it's not fun. It's just that there are other things that happen, and you have to, if you're going to do a tour or shows, I'm lazy.
Yeah,
I've grown lazy in my old age.
Good for you. Now we're going to play In the Air tonight. Already we've done the.
Yes, and I've
made
notes about it.
There's normally an elephant in the room, but can't we mention there's a gorilla in the room?
Yeah.
What did you think about the advert for chocolate? Did your kids must have found it pretty funny?
I don't even know if they've seen it because
really, because it was a few years. Was it 2007
well, yeah, but
or something?
maybe I should show them it. Actually, I hadn't never thought about that. But it was a UK kind of commercial, and they were living in Switzerland.
But iconic song, obviously, and quite iconic, cultish kind of advert that was just.
Yeah.
Did you get any chocolate sent to you?
No,
as a thank you?
Didn't. I don't even know if I got paid, but they called up and said, can we have Phil's permission to use In the Air Tonight, with a gorilla playing the drums, and I said, well, you're welcome. Have a go at that. That seems like an odd idea. But and actually, it was on television way before I saw it. And someone had told me they'd seen it and they loved it, and I kind of Googled it and watched it, and it was great. I was really happy with it. Yeah. And what really made it look like it was an important advert was that they did a special version for the rugby.
Oh, did they?
Come on the lads on the bass drum. And I thought, wow,
nice.
It's a good advert, and it's a special edition.
Very nice. We're going to play the track now then from January '81, lead single from the album. Do you remember what number it got to?
2, I think.
Got to number 2. Do we know what kept it off the number 1
John Lennon.
spot? Oh, with John Lennon and Woman?
Yeah.
Beautiful song, Woman, actually.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, he was one of my heroes,
Yeah, of course.
But he was the only Beatle I never met, actually.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I remember it very well, that period, because it was also new and fresh, I remember doing Top of the Pops, and, I was thinking, God, I'm going to do Top of the Pops. Single was at 36. And what am I going to do? I'm not ready to stand there and sing it, so I thought I'd play the keyboards, And my tour manager said, I'll get a keyboard stand then. I said, no, not one of them Duran Duran ones, because I'm not ready for that kind of posh thing. Get a workmate or something, So we got a workmate, and we put the keyboard on top of it. And he said, well, what? I said, put the drum machine on a tea chest, So we had this kind of DIY thing going.
Yeah, kind of looked together a bit.
And then there was a famous pot of paint, which, because of the endless rehearsals, things started to appear. There was a theme.
Nice.
And everybody thought that I was having a go at the wife, but I wasn't. But anyway, next week it was number 3.
Wow.
And then, of course, it got, gathered its own momentum, and it got number 2.
OK, so we're going to play it now. Here it is. I was going to tell you, here it is. It's Phil Collins.
Okay, yes.
You know that, don't you?
Yes.
It's In the Air Tonight.
I've heard it before.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. 'Cause I was there and I saw with my own two eyes. See, you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. No, you don't believe. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. So stranger to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord.
Look at that jacket, Phil.
I know. I don't know what happened to it. You know,
Cool, that, with the collar roll.
probably grew out of it.
What's going on there when you're trying them doors?
Well, you know, I had this idea for the video, but not that idea, but I wanted to go down a dark corridor almost as if you had a miner's hat on with the light, so you only saw what you did.
Oh, cool.
You know, that's
Where
what I
you
wanted.
looked, yeah.
That's what I wanted. But before, you know, I would, and if I'd have done something later, you know, in my career, I would have been more assertive.
Yes.
But it ended up being me opening and closing doors. The only bit I
Sorry,
really,
excuse me. Oh,
the only
room
bit I
cupboard.
really like is the album cover singing. You know, I think that is really strong.
Yeah, it's iconic.
You know, the rest of it is, you know, looks like an 80s video.
we are going to end with Puss in Boots from Adam Ant.
Yeah.
And you had a hand in this, didn't you?
Yeah, I produced it and played drums. The Adam, who was a great guy, and Marco, they're very nice guys. And I was playing somewhere. I was playing in Buffalo, actually, in America. And they flew to meet me because he wanted, you know, he'd been away from America. Well, I guess he loved drums, you know, and
So he was a fan of yours, and
yeah, you know, and his Burundi drum thing, you know, he was quite famous for that. So he asked me if I would produce a couple of songs. I said, yeah, of course, you know. I mean, it just seemed like an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't busy. You just had your solo stuff and Genesis in one of the biggest bands in the world. Sure, do a bit of that. Do you have to take command a bit more when you're producing somebody else's music? You know, do you have to be the boss a bit?
Yeah,
or-
kind of prompt them a bit, you know, and help them make their record. I mean, I'm not a producer like George Martin or Phil Spector or you know, I just help people make their records, and that's what I did with the people I produced. So we flew to Stockholm, and because I had used the ABBA studio
nice.
before, I got a couple of my mates in to play in the band, and we did this Puss in Boots thing, and another song called Strip.
Okay, what happened to that?
That was on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, because we only did, you know, one single. But I remember he played the spoons.
Adam did?
Yeah. And I played the spoons as well.
I wish you had a couple of spoons now.
Yeah, well, I haven't played them for a while. But he at the end of the sessions, he gave me a pair of gold spoons. Yeah.
Wow. It was...
Well, so that's, you know, it was kind
nice.
of, you know, to do that with.
Teaspoon size, or, you know,
A little bit.
soup spoons?
No, yeah, but smaller than soup, larger than tea.
Oh, specialist.
Yeah, I mean, he found them somewhere and got a little case for them made.
That's really sweet. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Have you still got them somewhere?
No, you know,
Went the same
No,
ways.
when you get divorced 3 times, you lose things.
Don't say that one of your wives said, "I want those spoons."
No, they just disappear. You know.
Phil.
Come on, let's talk about this.
No, we can't anymore. It's too
I
much.
wish I had them, you know. It's like when I played with Eric Clapton, and I did 2 albums for him in the 80s, you know, produced them. I used to wear these Converse shoes all the time because whenever I was playing, those are the shoes I preferred playing in those than real shoes.
Yeah.
So he made me a flight case with a pair of Converse in them.
Cool.
You know. Yeah, that was nice. I hadn't got them either, but you know, it was a nice gesture. They give you that instead of money, you see.
Yeah.
Have a pair of shoes.
Yeah, here we are in a flight case. Okay, well, we're going to play Puss in Boots, Madam Ann, and you've just been one of my absolute favourite guests ever on this show.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
So thanks so much for coming on, Phil Collins.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks again to Phil Collins. Of course, you can catch our chat again if you like. Go online, visit bbc.co.uk/radio2 anytime. Just relive the magic. And now let's take a moment to remember someone.